right, here we go yet again. It's your main man Cliftone here. Welcome back to Cliftone's Corner. When I first left you guys on the Big Brother front, we had nothing. We had no cast, no house, no twist, no nothing. So, for some strange reason, CBS decided to give us the cast the day before premiere night, and even that got screwed up. More on that later. But first, I want to just dive right on in because we have a lot to cover for this first week of Big Brother. I'm going to dive right on into the cast. Guys, first, then the ladies, then I'll get into the premiere night notes and move through the first week of everything that has taken place. Not everything, because there's been a lot of bullshit going on, but that's to be expected with Big Brother. There's always going to be some microaggressions. There's also always going to be some bullying. Come on, it's season 24. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's season 24. But you know what? Let me calm down, because some of you may not know about any of that. So we'll get to that later. But first, we are going to start introducing this cast. First up, our males. Daniel Durston. He's 35, from Vegas, a Vegas performer. He's an Elvis impersonator. Now, at first, I thought that meant that, like, I thought an impersonator was like when you impersonate, like with drag queens, like with Cher impersonators and things like that. Daniel does not like an Elvis to me. I've seen none of his work, but he does not look like anybody's damn Elvis. So we'll see where any of this actually goes. Moving on, we have Joseph Abden, and you'll find out more about Joseph later in terms to what I was speaking about with the cast reveal. But Joseph is 24, from Lake Worth, Florida, and he is a lawyer. Next up is Kyle Kapner. Oh my goodness, it's a simple ass name. Kyle is 29, from Bountiful, Utah, and he's in tech sales. Next, we have Michael Berner, one of my personal faves. He's a super fan, 28, from Minnesota. We also know who else is from Minnesota. We have a few other Minnesota players, past alumni. And he is an attorney. Of course, he's not going to let anyone know that when he gets into the house. Monty Taylor, 27, from Bear, Delaware. He's a personal trainer, and by the looks of it, you can kind of assume that would be his profession. Like, you can kind of look at some people and like, yeah, I see that for you. That fits. Monty is definitely one of those people. Moving on to Joe Pucciarelli. Joe will be going by Pooch because we have Joseph. Joseph. Throw it out there now. Joseph was not supposed to be in the house. Joseph was a very, very, very last minute cast replacement because Marvin, another cast member that you guys probably never know about if you're not like really in the Big Brother Twitter streets and like the Big Brother streets hard. Marvin is currently appearing on America's Got Talent, and of course, different networks, contract restrictions, yada yada yada. We can all assume where that ended up. Marvin was booted from the cast. He was replaced with Joseph. So now that goes to the Joseph thing. So let's just call Pooch, and let's call Joseph. And just in case people might start calling him Joe. So to avoid that, I'm guessing they're just going to call Joe Pooch and Joseph, and they might call him Joe. There we go. Pooch is 24, from New York, which is clear when you look at him, and he's moved to Florida. He's an assistant football coach. Terrence Higgins is 47, from Chicago, and he's a bus operator. Matt Turner is 23, from Massachusetts, and he's a thrift store owner. Again, when you kind of look like a profession fits you, it fits you. In the house, Matt will be going by Turner. That's just like a little heads up so you guys know what I'm talking about. Turner, he's not some extra person. He is Matt. Moving on to the ladies. Alyssa Snyder is 24, from Sarasota, Florida. My sister's also from Sarasota, so shout out to you, Regina. I hope you're listening. She is a marketing rep. Amira Jones, 31, from Maryland. She's a content designer. Brittany Hoops, She's 32 from Georgia to Texas. She's a hypnotherapist. Indy Santos. She's 31. She's another personal fave of mine. She's from Brazil, currently residing in California. She is a corporate flight attendant. Jasmine Davis is 29 from Minnesota to Atlanta. She's an entrepreneur, followed by Nicole Leog from Lauderdale. She's a private chef, but I think I read somewhere that she was formerly a cop, which of course she's not going to let anyone know that. Who wants to be called the next Derek? Nobody. Ugh, let's not bring up that. Let's not bring up that or BB16. Paloma Aguilar is next up, and she's 22 from California, and she does some interior designing. Taylor Hale, 27 from Michigan. She's a personal stylist and also a bit of a pageant girl. Now, these are our 16 victims. I really wish they do a season where there's a bit more house guests sometime soon. But then they'd probably extend the days again, and they probably haven't been trying to extend the days, which I can understand. Because once these seasons start hitting, well, honestly, once they start hitting day 70, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to eject. But really, the 99, 100-day seasons, they're just a drag. Our house guests were moved in groups of 4. They moved in, competed in competitions, then competed in HOH, which then set us up for the week to come. And we'll go ahead and go through that. Our moving groups will start. Group 1 was Jasmine, Kyle, Paloma, and Monty. Group 2 was Alyssa, Daniel, Michael, and Taylor. Group 3 was Nicole, Turner, Joseph, and Brittany. And Group 4 was Terrence, Indy, Joe, and Amira. The BB Fest move-in comps, basically. It was like a music festival of sorts that Big Brother has put together for this year. And it could have been better. Big Brother Canada has been knocking my socks off. So I really want CBS to step it up sometime soon. The comps were 3 comps. We should explain this from the beginning. There are 4 moving groups, but there are 3 BB Fest comps. The first one is the porta potties. That's where I believe they had to listen to audio clips that featured people talking about numbers 1, 2, and 3. Whichever number came up the most, you had to be you didn't have to be the first to buzz in unless it was the final 2 people, but you wanted to not be the last person to buzz in, or you'd get goop and everything shot all through your porta potty. The piercing tints were where you had to take these pieces of jewelry, they all look kind of crazy, and clip them to your face. The first person to get to a certain amount wins. And last but not least, the merch stand, which was a very, very mini endurance competition where they just hung on to very stiff t-shirts. And in the order of the thingies, the competitions, the first group to compete was the porta potty group, consisting of Paloma, Jasmine, Nicole, Kyle, and Monty, who won. The piercing tint group was Taylor, Joe, Brittany, Terrence, and Turner, who won. And the merch stand was Alyssa, Amira, Indy, Michael, and Daniel, who won. The winners of these comps, Monty, Turner, and Daniel, went on to compete in the very first head of household competition of the summer, Drumming for Power. And here's how it works. The 3 house guests are set to assemble a mini puzzle of a drum set, and the first to complete it wins. And Daniel was able to drum up some power and snag the first head of household. As you may notice, there's one name I haven't been saying for a bit, and that's Pooch. Pooch pulled a pass, but it didn't lead him to a competition to compete in. That's because Pooch pulled the backstage boss pass, and that means he is safe for the week, but he cannot compete in any competitions, he cannot be nominated, and he cannot vote. There's power, of course, as always, in Brother, most powers come with extensions, and Pooch was able to select 3 other house guests to give backstage access, so become backstagers or whatever. He selected Paloma, Alyssa, and Brittany to join him. They cannot vote, they cannot compete in competitions. But at the end of the episode, Julie made sure to mention that while they can't do these things, they still may be evicted. Now, we're very, very curious to find out what this means, because we've gotten 0 information on this twist besides this. Literally, Pooch became backstage boss, and he chose 3 people, and that's been it. We found out the little information we have about them not being able to compete and vote, and that's literally been it. We know nothing. So production can pull anything out of their ass, like we know they're good for a lot of the time, but they can literally just reach up there, pull out anything, and be like, boom, this was the twist from the jump. You guys, you just didn't know. We're surprising you with this. And it all really depends on what happened. I have to get into things that happen later on in the week to really further go into this and things like that. It is day 8. Eviction is tomorrow. And there's an America's Vote already. From premiere night, we got the option to save one of the backstagers. And we, save them from what? But, I want everybody to jump on the Britney train. Well, I wanted everybody to jump on the Britney train. It's a little too late now to try and be soliciting votes. So far from the premiere episode, Britney gave me the best impression. And so I really want her to be saved out of the other 2 ladies. And as the week has went on, Alyssa and Paloma have shown their true colors and why, if it's a horrible twist and it's going to get them on the block instead of who's on the block now, then I'm all for it, really, just simply from the way they've acted throughout the past week. And we will get right into that. But first, we have to take a break. We have to hear a message from our wonderful sponsor. So if you can hold one moment, chill out for a little bit, and listen to this. And we're back. So let's go ahead and dive right back into it. Finishing off right after premiere night. Well, not right after. Well, technically right after if you think about it, really. We got the Challenge USA, and I'll dive into that on another episode. But after that, we got live feeds, and we love us some live feeds on premiere night. It really helps us see how alliances form and things that happen. If we did not have night 1 live feeds this year, wow. When we got in tomorrow after the eviction and finally got live feeds, we would have been like, what the fuck has been going on? What? So I'm very glad we have the insight that we have, and we've been able to see what we've been able to see. I haven't fully had the time to dive into feeds the past week while they've been available, but I've had my Twitter, I've had my Reddit, there's an article already out, so that's saying something. It's usually a few weeks in, at least 2, let it be 2 at a minimum. This looks bad when we're 6 days in and there's articles popping up about house guests, but we'll get into it all, and we're gonna start right on back on day 1, night 1 rather, day 1, night 1, whatever the case may be. Daniel has 1 head of household. Pooch is backstage boss. Paloma, Alyssa, and Britney are the backstagers. And throughout night 1, a women's alliance begins to kind of form between Indy, Paloma, Alyssa, Jasmine, Amira, and Britney. They're gonna call themselves the Girls. Now, this kind of makes no sense to me, being girls, and having an all-girls alliance, but you're excluding 2 girls. I'm not quite sure how that all works out for being for the girls, but you know what? Whatever makes you happy, sis. Paloma has been someone, and I know I'm talking about night 1, but she's been someone throughout the past few days that has really grinded my gears, and it's very shocking that she hasn't done this to anyone else in the house. At this point, if I was living with this woman, it's like, yo, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? A lot of things that she talks about, she is on tangents constantly, all day. I don't know what medication she's supposed to be taking. I don't know if she forgot to tell production about it. A lot of times, I don't know how these people make it through the psych evals. I thought I was a kind of mentally unstable person and a bit loopy and things. No. A lot of people they put on here have me beat by a mile. And I'm like, how do you find these people? Do I need to be this crazy to make it on the show one day? yeesh. Throughout the week, Paloma's going to be doing a lot of talking, a lot of scrambling. For what reason? No, she's not in any danger. Not yet. Not that we know of. Again, with the backstage twist, we know nothing. So I'm really, really curious to find out what's going to happen to these backstagers. And I'm really, really hoping that it puts Paloma in danger. At least Paloma, please. We have have-nots right off the bat. And we had a few volunteers for this. Joseph, Michael, Kyle, and Monty volunteered to be have-nots. I'm not quite sure why. If I was Michael, I would volunteer as a super fan. Monty is a rather big guy. I'm not sure why he'd want to be on Slop. Like, why? Why would anyone want to volunteer to be on Slop? But then I did hear it brought up later on that, yeah, these guys can get in the room and they can strategize in the have-not room together, and then they can go up to Daniel and be like, hey man, I volunteer for have-not. You can't put me up. Come on, man. I looked out for you. Look out for me. You know, so both situations I can understand. So, hey. As we move on throughout the first night and into the second day, Taylor is the topic of conversation everywhere. She's apparently rubbed people so wrong by just breathing and existing. I have no idea what the hell it is when it comes to black women in the Big Brother house and why they're just an instant target, and I don't get it. Thank the Lord for Big Brother 23 last year. Thank you God, they went a completely different direction, but this year it seems like we are right back to basics and right back to the same old bullshit. Like it gives me Dominique, Big Brother 18 vibes. It gives me Davon, Big Brother 17 vibes. I wish 16, 17 vibes. It's giving, like, come on. It's giving Candace vibes. It's giving, like, come on. I'm tired. We the people are tired of this. Somebody needs to step in and really rein this shit in, because at this point it's a huge problem in the game, and I'm seeing so many people, and myself included, feels this way. Let's go ahead. Let's get Taylor on the block. I mean, come on, man. Day 2, 3, 4, we're saying get Taylor on the block. Get her out. Please just evict her, because she does not need this. She feels so alone. She feels so alienated. And it's, why the hell is 15 other people in the house with her? She's finding herself alone in rooms, which, how in the hell is that possible? At the beginning of Big Brother, you're able to find yourself alone in a room, to have thoughts to yourself, to be able to talk to the camera. Like, that shit should be difficult to do, and for Taylor, it's coming up to be very easy, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking the way she's being treated. I can't be for any of this. Like, any of it. But unfortunately, that's the way things go on this stupid show. We hoped for change for the longest, and it came along with Big Brother 23. Now, mind you, there were still a few issues. Frenchie, Brenna bit, like, it was not a perfect season, far from it, but it wasn't this mess again. I wish the best for Taylor. I want nothing but the best for that young lady. Moving on, Daniel and Nicole and Brittany and Turner begin to form little duos on the side. Paloma makes an alliance of herself, Alyssa, and Amira, along with Kyle, Monty, and Pooch. This is going to be called Mamba. But for legal reasons, of course, they can't call this Mamba, because Mamba is something that's trademarked. So while they come up with something else for this, I will be keeping it as Mamba in my notes. These six person alliances seem to come together each and every season, and at a certain part, they either fall apart fairly early, or Cookout, they roll on through the game. Cookout kind of had their, their moments in between there. Derek wanting to do crazy things, and they got to Final Six. They got there. So you have groups that can do that, brigade, Cookout type groups that can. How did the Exterminators do? I can't quite remember back that far. I don't remember BB-15 anyway. there are groups that can make it, and there are groups that just get together, and literally probably 2 days after, members of the group are like, why did I do this? This is going to blow up in my face. I should not have done this. So, I'm waiting to see what the girls and what Mamba are going to do. In addition to those two groups, we also have the Oasis, made up of Kyle, Monty, Joseph, Pooch, Turner, and Daniel. Now, this is basically the strong group of guys. This just excludes Terrence and Michael, which are, in my opinion, if you look at the group of guys, they are technically the two weaker guys, the two guys on the lower point of the podium. Turner, in my opinion, is at the lower point of that podium as well. But yeah, let's see who goes the furthest of the 6-person alliances. And speaking of that, in Mamba, at my last understanding, Amira was unaware. I'm not sure if she's been made aware of this by now. I'm not sure. But as we move into day 3 and nominations, Daniel has decided to nominate Michael and Terrence for eviction. Now, honestly, Daniel was, when I first saw the cast, one of the people I saw as a first boot option, being that he did win HOH. Terrence, of course, being one of the 2 oldest people in the house, would of course be an option for nomination. Michael coming off as, again, the nerdy, weaker person. See, I just said they're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. Mamba does not include them, so I can understand them being nominated for eviction. Of course, we have our veto the very next day on day 4. Daniel, Michael, and Terrence are joined by Amira, Turner, and Indy. I heard a few bits of what the competition was, but that will premiere later on in tonight's episode of the show. So we'll see that. We'll get to get all the visuals for that prior to tomorrow's eviction. And the outcome of the veto is Michael won the veto, and I couldn't be more happy. Michael is one of my draft picks. Actually, I didn't even, hold on, let me flip back real quick, because I didn't even speak on that. I drafted Brittany, Indy, Michael, and Taylor. So I know I said I want Taylor to be evicted, but that's for her mental health and her sanity. That's still my girl. No matter what, I'll take the hits on the point for that. Baby girl, get out of there and get you some peace. But I'm so happy for Michael winning veto. Points for me. Come on. So that hopefully, I don't remember how I'm doing points this year. The past few years, I had a weird numbering system, but the points were so high that when things would happen, it would be a lot to adjust and do the math for. So I've gone to a much smaller point system. So at the end of each week, I'll be doing my draft after eviction and going throughout the week, seeing who was nominated, who got a power, who was a have-not, who was HOH, who won veto, things of that nature. Adding up the points, subtracting the points, and seeing who was on the top, not just with my draft picks, but with all the players overall. We'll see how they rise and fall throughout the weeks, and at the end, we'll see who is the top contender besides the winner. A lot of the past few seasons I've been doing, it's been all over the place. So we'll see how it's going to go this year. Of course, I'm rooting for my picks, but it's always anybody's game. We'll see how it all plays out. But of course, come Monday, day 6, Michael is going to use the veto on himself. And of course, Daniel does not like this because he has to go ahead and nominate somebody else. And would it be racist to nominate Taylor? I don't know. He is very worried about the optics of it all, and this leads into the article I was speaking about earlier. He's very worried about the optics of it looking racist if he nominates 2 black people. Are you racist? I mean, if honestly, if y'all hadn't been treating Taylor like shit the whole week and ostracizing her, I wouldn't feel like this. Like, But anyways, he does end up making Taylor the replacement nominee. We don't want to see it, but we actually do because, man, I mean, from Paloma to Monty and Terrence, and like, come on, Jasmine, come on, You coming off like you not for your people, sis. And oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into none of that with where Jasmine's from, and if you know, and I'm moving on from it. But Terrence and Monty, like, that's y'all sister, dog. That is y'all sister. So that's it. It's nothing else we can do. The stage is set for eviction night. Literally the only thing we have to look forward to is this backstage boss twist. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with these three backstagers. Will it be a competition? I've seen some theories about there'll be a competition between the backstagers and the two nominees, and the two people to lose the comp will be the final nominees. I wouldn't be mad at that. I'd like to see that. So who knows? I really feel like production can go anywhere with this. It's their ball. It's in their court. This is their world. It's their house. We're just living in their game. We're playing their game. They're playing us actually every fucking season, every summer. I'm very, very excited to see how the season plays out, even though it is a hot dumpster fire trash box right now with the trashy people that are in there. When more than likely Taylor goes, again, everything is dependent upon how this twist plays out, what this twist even really is for Backstage Boss. If Taylor does not go, I'm very, very excited to see what her game will contain and how she'll play and how she'll deal with the people. When she was nominated, Daniel told her that she was rubbing the people the wrong way and hurting people. So the past few days, Taylor's been kind of like, if I've hurt people, I would like for those people to come to me so I know, so that I can apologize and make amends. Like, I don't want to make a space where people feel like they can't be themselves and where they feel like they can't talk and so on and so forth. And the thing is, Taylor's done nothing. She's done nothing to offend anyone. She's done nothing of the sort. So, I don't know. I'm very excited if she does say to see what she can do. Hopefully, her experience in the house does get better. She doesn't deserve what she's going through now. Very excited to see Michael play through this game. I really want to see what Brittany brings to the table. Indy is someone I really want. She's talking a lot about Big Brother Brazil. I need to watch it for one, but I really love the personality she's bringing. I want to see her in comps. I want to see her in DRs. I think she's going to be a very entertaining person via the DR. So yeah, like I'm saying, that's it for the week. We have I can't see you in these little final two deals. We have the Rogue Rats between Nicole and Daniel. That was actually shown on Sunday night's episode. The Pumpkin Spice Latte PSL between Paloma and Alyssa, which is pretty inevitable. They kind of really clicked together during this backstager thing. So Brittany's been putting her foot in her mouth this week a bit, but I should have talked about that too. But another day, another time. We have plenty of time. We got tons of time with these people, but not for one of them because they will be evicted very shortly. Tooch between Pooch and Turner. Burner between Brittany and Turner. Inside of the girls, there's the core three, and that's between Paloma, Alyssa, and Amira. Inside of the Oasis, there's the Motley Crew, and that is Pooch, Turner, and Daniel. And then there's Mamba with Paloma, Alyssa, Amira, Monty, Kyle, and Michael. And lastly, the Blue-Eyed Bash Boys. It's the final two between Pooch and Kyle. I believe Turner and Pooch are running it up for the most alliances. Let's see. Turner has a 1, 2, 3. Pooch has 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so they're tied up for that. It's been a lot of moving parts. I'm very, very anxious to see how this eviction night goes. Very anxious to see what the twist is. I will be joining you guys very, very soon to update you with some more information. But for today, that is all I have for you. I'm your main man, Cliftone here, and I'll be back very, very soon because we have our first eviction on Thursday. First live eviction Thursday, and I just can't stop. I can't stop saying it. I'm very, because we know nothing about this twist. Like, Nothing. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't dick us around. They love to do that. They love to play our faces. And 12 times out of 10, the twist usually blows up in their faces anyways. So hair flip. Yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your man, Cliftone. I've said that already. I'm pretty sure I did. Peace out. Thank you.